Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show, the NORA SEROUSSI SHOw. And today we have something also very different. I would like to introduce you to my guest. His name is Howard Dell. And when I had to write the tagline for it on what he does, I didn't know what to write because there were so many different things, Howard.
Mama didn't raise no fool.
Welcome.
It's good to be here, Nora. Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you.
You know, it's good to be seen, even at my age.
Okay, let's not get into that thing. So,
yes.
Seriously, when we were writing the tagline for this, I know motivational speaker. I did not know all about the Olympic athlete. That was a surprise.
Yeah,
I want you to tell me about each one.
Okay.
I also know you're an actor. I know you're a singer, that you sang with Stevie Wonder and David Foster, who is one of the biggest songwriters in the industry.
Magnificent.
And I was like, okay, how much space do we need to write all of this? So, and you know what else I found out? You were both Canadian. I'm from Montreal. You're a Toronto kid.
Je suis Canadien.
Non, moi, je dois parler en français. Et toi?
Un petit peu.
Un petit peu. Ok, c'est pas mal.
Everybody watching is going to be like, what are they doing?
What are they doing? And then you were in LA, and I was in LA, and then you landed in Romania, I landed in Romania. How did all this happen?
Because you're 1 year older than me, and I was following you and didn't
You don't need to tell everybody that.
You know, gosh, you know, it's been a lot of time. I had 5 goals when I was a child, and I was from a little small town, and no one knows where Belleville, Ontario is, but I was you know, back when I was a little Michael Jackson, big afro, and I was the little kid who ran around saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So I had 5 goals, and I just set out to achieve them.
Bravo. So you actually had a bucket list.
I had a bucket list.
Before the bucket list became popular.
There you go, 8 years old.
Well, that's okay. I must say, at 8 years old, I had no clue what I wanted to do, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And even till 28, I probably would have said I didn't know what I wanted to do. So you were very fortunate that you actually, you know, knew which direction you wanted to. Basically, you wanted to get out of this little town? Is it one of those typical...
I just wanted to go, as my mother would say, I just wanted to go there. I didn't know where there was, but I was going there.
You know, the funny thing is when I was growing up in Montreal, and I said to my parents, I'm going to live in Europe. They were like, what? Because everybody lived there, lived next door to the... And I said, I love it. And Montreal's a beautiful city.
Of course.
But there was the rest of the world, and I said, no, I'm going to live here, and I'm going to live there. And you know, I lived in LA for many years, I lived in London, then I moved to Bucharest. So for me, it's normal, and my family is all over, so we're always traveling to visit everybody.
There you go.
But, you know, for the people that are used to the, you know, the town and the one small town, and they're like, well, where are you going? What are you doing?
And why?
That's usually why, but you can't. Yeah. It's so hard to explain it to them. How do you explain it to them?
I had things to do. I wanted there's a world to see. I had goals, and I knew I couldn't achieve them there. You know, as much as I loved where I was, you know, I love my hometown, but I just, you know, I'm watching TV. I see Michael Jackson. I see, you know, I'm looking at Denzel Washington. I'm looking at Carl Lewis, Olympic athletes, and I'm sort of like, well, they're doing. I got to go there.
You know? But okay, you went there and there and there. You've done more.
I just figured I'd keep going.
Okay, you know what's funny?
Going.
When we were talking now at my birthday, and I was saying, you know what I've done in so many decades, and somebody said to me, what you've done in this time, most people will never do. And I said, probably, possibly, because I have gone in different directions, and some directions even which I didn't know, because I never thought I was going to own a restaurant or a bar or do, you know, all kinds of things. But that was part of the growth, and it was an opportunity.
Thank you. Exactly. When an opportunity presents itself and you're there, most people will kill for that opportunity. So when it sits itself in front of you, you're like, yeah, okay. And so, and your life experience helps you in terms of not being afraid. So you've done one thing, so you did that. So when an opportunity for another thing comes along, what's there to be afraid of? I did that. And you just, you know, just sort of keep moving.
I look at it like next, and they're like, well, aren't you? No, I'm not happy staying in the same place. I want to move on. I want to do something else. We're only on this earth for a finite time.
I know that very well.
And because we don't know the expiry date, which if we did, we would know exactly how to plan ahead, but you don't. So you really have to make every day count.
Absolutely. I know that
and I'm
better
sure
than most.
I don't need to tell you, you're the motivational speaker.
Yeah, it's and that's what I do when I'm speaking, you know, when I'm speaking internationally, and companies, you know, hire me to come in and do my spiel. And I'm just taking them through my story. And I take them up until the point where, the doctor tells me I have 3 months to live, and I have a very rare liver disease, and there's no cure, there's no treatment. They got nothing for you. You get it and die, or you have to have a transplant. And getting a transplant is like 1 in a million, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was fortunate. I instead of dying in 3 to 6 months, I had lasted 3 years, and literally coming to the end of my life, a liver became available, and I had my transplant. And so I've been post-transplant now 10 years, and the last 10 years have been chock full.
I was reading about that, and I know from your bio how much you've done with the sports and the training and the athletics, and you look at you, and it's funny because people would look at you and never have any idea that you went through such a critical period in your life.
Yeah, it's it's problem solution, right? You have choices in terms of you get bad news, and I guarantee you're the same way. You get the bad news, and okay, like it's next. Okay, so let's deal with this, in whatever way we can to our satisfaction, and then move forward. We don't sit back and regress and just wallow in the abyss, because that's not what we're made of. That's not what. I just don't think people are made of that. You got to get out of that, and that's when I'm motivationally speaking. This is one of the things I try to help people with. You don't wallow in the abyss. You've got to move forward, because that's.
I'm sure there is a certain period of self-pity, and you have to go through that.
Yes.
But then the next step has to be: am I going to just stay here, or am I going to try and
move forward
and defeat it? And how do we deal with it and move on? As you said.
Exactly.
So I have so many questions.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start. So, Toronto.
Yes.
And then you said L.A.?
No, oh my gosh. So Toronto, born and raised, North York, and then moved to Belleville. Went to Laurentian University in Sudbury, then went to McMaster University in Hamilton, and then the Olympics came along in terms of, I was doing athletics at the time, and bobsled presented itself, and I'm like, okay. Let me try that. I was very lucky to be successful at that. And meanwhile, I'm still a Belleville boy. I have never been out of the country. Now I'm off the Soviet Union. Now I'm off all these strange places competing in bobsled.
So how was that?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Of course, it was amazing. And I think, in my particular opinion, you tell me what you think, but I think Canadians, for example, are very interested in other cultures, because we have the French culture. So we're grown up with the French culture. So we're what about the Hungarian culture? What about this culture? We just that's just how we are, I think. So me getting to see these other cultures and go to different countries was like, wow, this is cool, especially
it's like a dream.
Yeah, of course. So then bobsledding took me into pro football. Took me into professional basketball, and then training professional athletes, and then of course you had to do the starving actor thing, and moved to Hollywood, and that just became successful.
There's a picture of you with David Foster.
Oh,
how did you get there?
Big
I
Daddy
want to know
Dave.
the story.
Yeah, that was I was actually not supposed to perform that night, and it was an evening with David Foster. It's sort of like a pre-show to the big show. And so he has an evening with David Foster. Tickets are a ridiculous dollar value because he's raising money for his foundation, which happens to be for transplants, which is why I was one of his performing guests. So he's taking people through his just amazing songs that he's written and his performers. And he's got some stars coming in for like 5 or 10 minutes to do a song and whatnot. And he's talking, and he's just talking to the crowd because it's very intimate, very 350 people intimate. And he's talking about the fact that every concert, everything he does, he'll bring somebody out of the crowd to sing. And he goes, he was just in New York and Boston and LA. He goes, I will never do that again. He goes, the last 3 times I did this, the people I brought up on stage were so terrible. He goes, I promise myself, never, ever will I do that again. Never. And he goes, but tonight, I'm going to do it again, right? and then before he's even finished saying his sentence, I'm sitting with some of his musicians and his background singers, and they all start pointing to me like this. And I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to perform. No, I'm not ready to go sing something right now. And David goes, he talks to his table and goes, you're pointing at the only black man in the crowd. So he comes over. So I'm not supposed to meet him today. I'm supposed to meet him tomorrow night. But here we go. So we are live. And Dave's like, he's like,
nothing like a little pressure.
You know what I'm saying? So he's interviewing me right there, and then he finds out about transplant and et cetera. So he drags me up on stage, and of course, so the important thing to remember when you have to do something spontaneously. In music is, the only things you have to worry about are getting into your song and getting out of your song. That's it.
Okay, now, there's a picture with Stevie Wonder. I want to hear that picture. I want to hear that story too.
Oh my gosh. Best 4 minutes of my life. If my publicist had a brain, I'd have that all on video. Oh my gosh. So concert's over, and I got to meet Stevie. I got to So I'm backstage, and it's, there's almost nobody in the place, right? Just one of his people, obviously, and myself and my publicist and a couple other people. And I'm over to Mr. Wonder. I'd like to get a photo and just want to talk to you about, I wanted to take a knee, but he wouldn't see me. So I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about, and I just sort of said, "Oh yeah, remember 1976 when you came out with song X?" And I am walking between myself from the stage to Stevie's dressing room, which is about 150 meters, and we are singing the entire time. Oh. I'm just like, I just called to say I love you. I'd be like, oh, isn't she lovely? And I say, hey, but I really like Another World. He goes, la la, and I'm like, I'm just dying. I'm walking down the hallway singing with Stevie Wonder, and
there's no video.
And there's no video. She's holding the phone and she's just staring at us. She's just staring at us sing. And I'm looking at her. I'm giving her that look like, are you recording this?
Really?
And And so we walk. And it's like I say, 4 minutes, and we get to his.
That's a once in a lifetime moment.
Oh my gosh. And we get to his dressing room, and I'm just sort of like, I don't even want to go.
I bet.
I sort of shake his hand, and I didn't shake his hand. I was just like. And I said, "Can we at least get a picture?" And he said, "Oh, no problem." And that's like this, because we just finished singing a song. So Stevie like this in the picture, right? Like this. I was like,
oh, sweet.
It was, what an amazing. Stevie Wonder. What can you say?
I'm expecting you will tell us all this in the book, in the memoir, yeah?
There'll be some good stuff in there.
I bet there will. So,
yes,
you and I are actually now heading in almost the same direction.
Yes, indeed.
Because next week we are going to be filming in Mamaia.
Yes, that's going to be fun.
Isn't it just? Now, everybody probably wants to know how we got there and what we're doing. So let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
So Edward, my partner, Edward Iremia, was involved with you, I found out.
Yes.
In the Creed 2 auditions with Florian Montiano for Sylvester Stallone, and that you were helping get Florian together. So tell me what happened there. And then
Edward and I first, I don't remember when we met, but prior to that, the reason Edward and I know each other is because he did the Super Combat deal with CBS Sports, which was huge. So the first one he was here in Bucharest, and he flew in one commentator, but because it's for an American channel, it'd be nice to have some color in the picture, and I'm a sports commentator anyway, so he asked me if I would...
I should have added that to your list too.
So he asked me
so
he asked me if I would come and be a sports commentator for CBS Sports, and so I said yes, we got put suit and tie on, and they're like, hi, Howard Dell here, CBS Sports, coming to you live from Bucharest and Super Combat, and with my friend, Jay Jordan.
Scared me.
So we had that was our thing. So that's how we initially got going. And then, I'm at home one day, and you and I both know Edward speaks so quickly. I got him on the phone for 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know what he wants exactly. I don't know what he wants. I'm just sort of like, okay, I know where he wants me to go and what time he wants me there.
I'm not sure what I'm doing.
But I have no idea. So I come down to this gym. Hey, Edward, what's going on? Okay, what's happening? Good. And he says to me, Howard, listen, I have a fighter. He's not an actor, but he's got an audition. I was wondering, obviously you're an actor and, you help actors and teaching stuff. So can you help him with his audition? So he hands me like 12 pages, 13 pages, and I'm looking at him sort of going, okay. A lot of dialogue, but yeah, definitely. And I go, so when's the audition? And he goes, in 2 hours. And I'm like, wait a second. And then I said, well, what is this for? What is this, if there's movies in town, I'm an actor, I should know what movies are in town.
Edward is dynamite.
Right? And he said, oh yeah, it's for a Stallone film, Creed 2. Wait a minute. Your fighter is auditioning for a Hollywood A movie with Sylvester Stallone in 2 hours. He's not an actor, by the way. I said, you shouldn't have called me 2 hours ago. You should have called me like 2 months ago. Right? So I just sat down I'm giving Florian the crash course in acting, and I told him 3 things. I wanted to get him comfortable in front of the camera. I wanted to tell him 2 things that Stallone was going to make him do. Stallone was going to listen to the audition, we're going to do the audition, and then Stallone's going to give you instructions. He's going to tell you to do something differently. The only reason he's telling you that is because he wants to see if you can take direction. That's all he wants to know. Then he might throw something legitimate in terms of a change. He might tell you to ad lib or something like that. So let's just practice these things, all right? So I'm having Florian, we are, one of the things we practiced was reading the dialogue or doing the dialogue as fast as we could, like, and then so it would seem slower because I know I speak quickly. So I'm trying to slow him down. Long story short, he does the audition in front of Stallone on this big screen. And Stallone is like, super, so far you are the best one we've seen so far. Now I'm off camera because I'm reading with him like this and I go, right? And then Stallone says to him, of course, I'd like you to change a section. Could you do this section a particular way and be a little more angry? And I'm looking at him going, so he does the audition, he does that. Stallone's like, great. He goes, okay, listen, when you get to the end of the audition, when you get to the end of the scene, forget the words, just ad lib. Just you and me, we're just going to ad lib. And I'm off camera going, ad lib does it great, and the rest is history. Yeah, he was great. He's just and a great guy too, phenomenal guy.
So now, after Creed 2 came out,
yep,
and Edward is getting back into the
movie business, yeah.
Well, we're doing the movie.
Yep.
We're doing the reality show documentary, filming the movie.
Yep.
And then this is also going to be shown live on DGTV in 100 countries.
Wow.
So it's like 3 things happening at once.
Yeah.
And you are actually going to be playing the part of the Super Combat CEO
Mr.
next week,
Edward.
and I'm going to be giving the award. I think
You're going to be the mayor. We're going to have some fun.
Oh, we're going to have so much fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's going to be so. That's going to be. Can you imagine? I got to play. I'm actually playing Edward, so it's a good thing I speak quickly, so they can get a sense for what's going on in our lives, so they can feel what we feel. It'll be fun. You know, it'll be a lot. There's going to be a lot of fun, and they've got some good talent, and it's a big shoot. A lot going on for the time frame. So it's really going to be, you know. It's going to be. Everybody's going to have to be on their game.
It's going to blow everybody's mind.
Yeah.
It really is, because what we've done and what he's done in such a short time period, I say kudos.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, you've got 3 things.
And I'm glad you're involved, because when he came and he told me about it, because I got, you know, I was in Canada, I just got back, and we were catching up on everything. And I said, that's great. And funnily enough, because he didn't know that I had invited you on my show.
Okay, right. Oh, yeah.
So I said, oh my God. So I said, Howard's coming. I said, you know that Howard is my guest? He goes, no, I didn't know that. So I said, well, that's very good, because now we can talk about it.
Exactly.
Openly.
Yeah. No, it's going to be, I think the director has, well, I think Edward has the toughest job. Director's second toughest job. Because what's going to happen is there will be no time for let's do it again. There's not going to be time for shaping things and 3 or 4 or 5 takes.
No, we don't have the luxury, actually.
Exactly.
Not in this short time.
Not in this time frame. So
but I'm sure it's going to be dynamite.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Like I say, that's why Edward was key. You guys.
There's the picture of you when you were doing the.
Oh, it's good old CBS. See, that's Edward and I just doing our thing. He was telling everybody about Super Combat and how extraordinary it is.
Look, I always say, I said, you know what, I give him a lot of credit for taking a brand and making it global.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
And I loved how it appeared in Creed 2. Did you see on all the rings? Oh,
yes.
I saw it everywhere. Every time it came up, I was telling my friends.
I didn't realize that. He told me after, he says, did you pay attention? I said, no. So now I was on the plane and I was watching it. And now I saw everything, because I never paid attention the first time.
Every time it came up, I'm at the theater going, Super Combat!
Yeah.
It's like I was annoying people, but yeah, I know that guy.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Everything you've done.
Yes. Which
is Olympic athlete and spokesperson and commentator and singer and actor. What's your most favorite thing of all of them?
My most favorite thing of all would be singing.
Singing?
Yeah, that's my gift.
Is that your passion?
Yeah, that's my passion, my gift.
I've seen you play piano.
Yeah,
you're playing piano on my birthday, but I
play
actually
and sing
didn't have to listen.
Yeah, definitely. It's the most sort of, calming, just emotional thing that I can do. It helps. That's my yoga. Singing, playing the piano.
What kind of music do you sing?
I'm a sad songer.
Oh.
I'm old school sad songs. That's it. Yeah, ballads. When I play, my goal is to make you cry. So, give me a piano and I just
When I listen to music, it usually is supposed to make me feel happy.
I want your box of tissue, be like, okay, you ready? All right, pass out the tissue.
No.
Yeah.
First of all, I learned one thing. I mentioned this before because, my daddy passed away last year and you're not supposed to listen to music. And I realized only then the impact that music has on my life. Because
yeah.
when you don't have something, and it's part of my life. It's such a part of the fabric of my life that every day from the morning I get up, I do my exercise, listen to music. Then I get in the car, and and other people cannot listen to music at all, which I
don't know how.
I find it fascinating because I cannot work like that. But music, I believe, is for the soul.
Absolutely, without question.
And it's so important to me, and other people it doesn't matter if they hear it, they don't hear it.
Oh, I've got to have it. Yeah, I mean, well, before we had all these, before we had this internet and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm in university and I've got my cassette player, and I'm studying my exams, listening to my music, or I'm working.
Before that, we used to have the
records,
the vinyls,
little vinyls and turntables and floppy disks and
the old. What is that? Mom, did you have this? Did you have this? No. What did they have when you were there? It's not very much, actually.
Yeah.
Compared to today.
We were creative. We
had to be creative because we didn't have all the things available. Joseph is so lucky.
Absolutely.
He has everything at his fingertips. We're like, we used to take the chords and pretend to make like the speakers and the microphones, and out of nothing we made things. It was unbelievable.
Back in the day.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're dating yourself like this. You can leave me out of this.
It's okay.
So, you're training kids now?
Well, no, what I do now,
I get an impression.
So my forte, one of my specialty is working with the best athletes in the world. So I work in 4 different sports: basketball, football, athletics, golf, and tennis. Last 3 or 4 years, I trained some of the top tennis players in the world in women's tennis: Patti Schneider, Barbara Lepchenko, Romina Oprandi. I've worked in athletics, is one of my favorites. I spent 10 years with the best track coach in the world as my mentor, working with 8 Olympic gold medalists in the sprints, All-Americans, from Maurice Green to Nova Paris-Nibone from Australia.
You're name dropping.
Yeah, and then when I had my own NBA Summer Pro League team, actually before we had official Pro League, and I was training NBA players, and so we had a lot of NBA players. And when I was doing my starving actor thing in LA, I was training NBA players as well. So that's how we sort of combined everything.
Okay, somehow training them and starving actor, it's almost like a dichotomy. How does that work?
Yeah, well, the starving actor thing is just, I guess, sort of a metaphorical term because. When you first get there, you're living in a.
I'm sure that the NBA can afford to pay. This is my impression.
Absolutely, yeah. But you sort of enjoy the camaraderie. I mean, we were living in Hollywood, and there's like 4 guys in one apartment, and we're just. It was great. It was just I'm driving this little car. I'm famous for my friends. I drove this car myself 850,000 kilometers.
Really?
Yep. And when I sold it for $250, and she worked perfectly.
Huh? It didn't fall piece by piece?
I kept it together. Every time I got a paycheck, be like, we need to fix the motor. We need to replace the tires. So yeah, that was my pride and joy. But then like you said, they paid, so I had to upgrade. Upgrade it to a power.
How did you land up in Romania?
Well, post-liver transplant, everything was gone. I went bankrupt with my liver transplant. Took everything I had, medical insurance, how it is in the States and stuff, and it was a lot of money, over $1.5 million, about $1.5 million. I liquidated everything I had, sold everything I had, had to pay the bills. I have a picture of me, and I'm holding what's got to be 200 envelopes, and I'm holding 200 envelopes, and they're all bills, all hospital bills. And so anyway, so bankruptcy, but I'm alive. That's the most important thing, because I can always work. I got skills, I can work. And I'm sitting at home and I just didn't know what to do. And then, a good friend from Romania called me up and said, listen, why don't you come and check out this facility that we're building? Maybe you'd like to do some work here, who knows? And so I came out and had a look, and I thought, okay, let me just, I'm going to go to Romania, because I'd been here before. I'd visited here before back in 2002 and 2003, as I was training a tennis player back then. Mm-hmm. And so I decided, I think I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay and see what happens. And I think Romania is an extraordinary place. I really love it.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. So, makes me happy.
Another Canuck saying that.
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, I find in terms of landscape, environment, etc. I don't know what it is, but I find Canada and Romania a lot similar to me. Like the openness, the forests, the lakes, and I don't know. It feels like Canada to me.
I always talk about the people here because I've lived in cold countries and considering Europe, they're actually very warm people.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is something, I mean, you know, I don't know how much you know, probably not a lot, but we used to come here since I was about Joseph's age.
Okay, well.
Every summer.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I saw a lot of changes over 40 plus years. And then 14 years ago, I decided to move here because I was spending so much more time. I actually lived in London, but I wasn't living in London. I was living more here.
Here, yeah.
So I decided to pack up everything, put it on the truck, which of course disappeared for 3 days, and we didn't know where it was. And I don't care to go through that ever again. Everything I own is in that truck.
Right.
Don't know where it is, what country even. And really, I didn't sleep 3 days. And then I said, that's it, because I'm the type of person, when I get involved in something, I jump in, be it correct or not, but that's the only way I know how to do things.
All in.
And I said, right, I'm going to go there. And they said, but you don't speak the language. I said, I will learn. I learned the language, I learned the system. It is a different mentality.
Yes. Yeah.
England is a different mentality. Americans a different mentality. Canadians and Americans sort of. But even then, there is still another subtext and another layer of another mentality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I concur, without question. I concur. And
because people label Canadians and Americans as North Americans all one.
Yeah.
But there is, after living in, there is a difference.
Oh, there's a big difference between Canadians and Americans, without question. Especially when you ask a Canadian. You ask an American, not so much. But
the Americans will tell you not so much, but when you say to a Canadian,
they're like, excuse me?
And the minute they hear you're Canadian, I'm like, all right, knock it off.
Yeah, I'm so glad I think I'm weaned off of A. I don't remember the last time I said it, but I don't think I
just spent 10 days there. I might be doing it, I'm not even aware of it. It comes back to you like that.
It does come back fast. You spend a couple of days at home and every second word's A. I don't know, A, you think, yeah.
Are you going out and about, no doubt? Is that like a thing?
Out and about. Yeah, I didn't realize
that was
either.
another thing they used to tease me about in LA.
Out and about.
Which I wasn't even aware that I did this.
It's like
until they were, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's like the British English and the American English. When we'll say elevator, they'll say lift.
Yeah.
We'll say, give me something else.
Guess.
There's billions of them.
Yeah, everything from...
And it's like, but that is English, but it's different English.
Yes. As I remember once, my father's Jamaican, and he's that's when Britain owned. It was a Commonwealth country, I think. Maybe it still is, I don't know. But so let's pretend Britain owned Jamaica, and so he spoke proper English, like British kind of thing, right? And but Jamaica has its own dialogue. And I remember one day went to Toronto, and we went to this Jamaican school, and everybody speak with Jamaican accent, Lord have mercy. And they were speaking this language called patois. I was like, that's so cool, I gotta learn this. And I came home, and my dad almost beat me to death. He lost his mind. You will speak the King's English. The King's
Queen's
English.
Okay, see, in those days, look at that, the King's English.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we say you will speak the Queen's English.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool.
And my mother's a good Irish lass, Top of the morning, so you're kind of from Ireland.
Yes. So Ireland, Jamaica, how did they meet?
I don't know, but I couldn't understand anything until I was 10. That's all I'm going to tell you about that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh Lord, do your parents know this, or they'll?
No, I don't say it. They're not going to see the show, so.
Anything to the left.
Just kidding, Mom.
You didn't understand that until us till we were.
Oh my gosh. But it's funny. I like the whole accent thing is sort of I went to South Africa for World Transplant Games, competing there and some athletic things. And when you come to Africa, you must come on safari. Africa is I just love the accent. It's just so, listening to them speak, it's sort of like, it's African and English, and you're like, huh? No, it's like
there's all kinds of, even in America.
Oh,
you listen in
gosh.
New York, go to the South where really they do talk with booming voices and they are that polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm like, oh, I like this.
And the slang.
And then you go to another part where it's a different kind of English.
Texas or Boston.
And it's all in one country, but there are so many different slants to it.
Yes. It's like
there are in England, because in England,
Oh, yeah, that's right. They have the Yorkies and they have the this
Yorkshire is a different
yeah.
accent. Talk to somebody from Liverpool, which I have to tell you, I had friends and I didn't understand. He's going, what did he say?
Way.
What did he say? Tell me what he said. I got part of it. Then you have the proper English,
yes.
the upper proper,
the Queen's
across.
English. Yes.
And then you go, and England is okay, obviously not the same size as America.
Right. Yeah.
But you have all the different lingos. Also in Romania.
Oh yeah. Now somebody
can listen
yes.
and tell me this guy's from here. I can't tell the difference.
Me neither.
But they can sit down and say this guy's from the north, this guy's from this town.
You know, isn't
I
that-
don't hear it
Yeah, isn't that
because I'm
wild?
not familiar with it.
Yeah.
But like if they came to America, it all sounds like English to them.
To them, yeah.
But for us, we will know who's from Mississippi,
Oh, yeah.
who's from Miami, and who's from New York.
Yep.
We can tell the difference. But it's very
Immediately.
interesting here.
Them Texans.
Oh, well, Texas. I think everybody just such a cool. I went to Texas when I was opening my restaurant.
Yeah.
And I went to buy some of the hats and to get some of the menus and that. Actually, I want to tell you, I love different parts in America. New Orleans is probably one of my favorite. But the nicest people and the most helpful
Yeah.
were actually in Dallas.
Oh, wow, nice. I spent a little time there.
I was blown away, and I was like, wow, they're so nice and so helpful.
Well, it's Southern hospitality, right?
Yeah, but I was in Alabama, and I was in different places, but Dallas blew me away. And I said, this is a
Great city.
Yeah,
Great
great
city.
city, and lovely people, and great food.
Well, New Orleans for great food, you know.
Oh, well, that's my favorite food. That's why I love it.
Yeah. And
The Cajun, the Creole,
Ugh.
I mean, that's like a foodorama for.
But I'm still going to settle on my Montreal smoked meat. Sorry, I'm going to, you know, and my DQ.
I had that actually last week before I got on the plane. I said to him, we're going to go straight to Dunn's, we're going to eat it. And then I said to him one night, my mother goes, are you coming? I said, no, we're having dinner at Dairy Queen. She goes, what do you mean you're having dinner at Dairy Queen? I said, Mom, DQ, I want a banana split.
Dinner at Dairy Queen.
And she said, yes, because I did it to Bonnie when I was in
Right.
LA. And she said, what do you want to do for dinner? I said, I want to go to Dairy Queen. She goes, for dinner? I'm like, first of all, that thing is like 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do it, that's my meal. And I said, no, that's what I want for dinner. And that's what I had. And I was, believe me, the happiest person sitting there listening to this fantastic music
Yeah.
with my son, having my Dairy Queen. I was so thrilled.
DQ.
So if I would have
It's like-
known, I would have tried to bring you back some.
Or Tim Hortons.
No, we didn't get to Tim. We
Didn't
had
get
so many
Tim's.
days. And,
Yeah.
you know, there were other things I want. He loves poutine. My son loves poutine.
Poutine, yeah.
We had a lot of that,
Yeah.
a lot. Then they had a poutine fest, and we went there too. So I said to him, if we don't see poutine now, which
No.
is, we should explain to the people, it's the French fries with the sauce,
Yeah, and
with the cheese curds,
Yeah.
just
But
drowning in gravy.
Can you get cheese curd here? I wonder if
I don't know. I've
I don't
never
know.
actually looked
I
because
loved. I mean, I remember I went to grade school cheese curd. You know, we go to the cheese factory and then, you know, the dairy factory, and let's get the curd. And
they're probably going, what is this? It is foreign food, but I actually brought back to poutine the packet, the
Oh, okay.
mixture,
Yeah.
to try and recreate it. But you know, as I
Not the
told them
same.
at lunch today when they were having hamburgers, and I said, I had a hamburger restaurant. I don't know if you know, and I said even if I get to the best I'm going to do is 90%. And I said, why not? I said because the eggs are different, the butter's different, all the ingredients are different.
different, yeah.
It can never, the meat is different, so it will never, if I get to 90% of how it, 80%
Yeah.
of how it should taste.
You're still ahead of the
I've
game.
done very well.
Yeah.
And I had two guys from Texas, I'm sure they were nice
Oh,
compliment.
there you go.
And they asked to speak to them, and he says to me, ma'am? And I was like, yes. He goes, tastes just like home. And I said, oh my gosh, that
Thank
is
you.
the best
'Cause
compliment you could have given me.
I fancy myself a burger connoisseur.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
I was voted best hamburger in Bucharest, by the way.
Well,
In the scheme of life, it's not a big thing, but at that time, considering how many months and
yeah, I'll take
thousands
it.
of hamburgers we made until we got it right. So
I'll be there every night.
that was,
I'm
you
a burgeraholic.
would have loved it. But they're still asking about my food years later.
Oh.
Believe it or not, it's like 6, 7 years.
Burgeraholic me.
So it was, it was very good. So LA,
Yep.
and then Bucharest, and
Bucharest,
so you
and-
came for a visit, and then
Decided
Just
I'm
like
going to
that.
spend my time here and then in LA. Just go back and forth, home, both home, and everything I can do at home I can do here. A lot of opportunity here. The people are great. The food is really fantastic, and like I say, I don't know. It's the feeling I have here. It's just feels right. Just feels right. You know, if it didn't feel right, I just go somewhere
you would
else.
have left.
Yeah, but it does feel right, and there's a lot of things that I would like to do here as well. So.
Like what?
Well, in terms of helping in their athletic, like coaching athletes, I mean, I could take some of these kids and turn them into gold medalists. No
I'm sure
problem.
they would love that.
No problem. We have great athletes here. There's great potential here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Lord, but the coaching is just horrible, and they refuse to learn anything new. And
Is there the funding behind that?
no, forget the funding.
You see, that's another.
Once I did a seminar, and the coach's main complaint was, "Yeah, there's no money, there's no this, there's no that." And my response to that is, "Then don't coach." there's no money, there's no this, there's no that, then don't coach. Find something else to do. Because with that attitude, trying to coach, you can't do anything. I said, here's what you're given. There you go. Take this and do the best what you can with it, and be happy. And sort of like, you give me that, and I'll turn that into, I'll make a mountain out of that. But these guys were just like, well, it's not enough. I can't do it.
So I think we have to appoint you on a council.
I think that would be,
that takes care of the,
takes care of athletes, takes care of the athletic part of things. Their little Olympic committee would be nice, or just, my goal, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would just start my own athletics club. So that I could support my athletes. I need 8 or 10 athletes, and I would turn these people into champions for sure. Without a question. I have no doubt.
Well, fingers crossed.
I bet my liver.
Anything is possible.
I'm hoping.
You've already beat so many odds. You've done so many things, and I say, bravo to you.
That would be my goal.
Because when I said, what does he do? And they're like, well, you did, okay. And then I was like, so obviously you are actually in a very good position to be a motivational speaker, especially with everything you've been through, because people say, well, 'cause that I see happens a lot. Because they asked me to talk about it. I said, why on earth? They said, no, because of your experiences. And I said, well, I won't do it the traditional way.
Right.
Because I have, I'm not one of these that, I'm not a traditional type of person. I have my own way of doing things. Right. Everybody does. And why would someone want to come see it? And then what position is that person in that they can motivate? And what makes their experience so different?
Correct. Exactly.
But with, listening to you and hearing what you've been through, and again, as I said, reading some of it, it brought you to a certain point in life, and you kept going because, number one, you didn't quit, and you were like, okay, let's move on.
And Kevin Spacey had one of the best quotes I've ever heard. He said, when you've made it to the top, it is your responsibility to send the elevator back down.
Yeah, that's good. There you are with Steven Seagal.
Oh, Steven, yeah.
How was that?
That was great. I starred in 2 movies with Steven, and all I can say is, I start off the beginning of the movie, I'm the good guy. The middle of the
movie is this now?
So there was one called Cartels, or Absolution.
I don't know that one.
And there's another one called Killing Salazar, and I did that with Florin Piersic. And,
oh, did you?
I was the bad guy. He was the pretend bad guy. I was the pretend good guy, and we switched roles, and of course, I had to kill him.
We had lunch with him today, and he's going to be in the movie next week also.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious. We have a riot when we're together.
Oh, well, that's good news. So you guys already know each other.
You know what he's going to do when I do my jazz concert?
What?
I'm trying to get together 3 guests to come out and sing my jazz concert who are not known for singing. And so Florin's going to be one of them. He wants to come out and sing.
He can sing? That's a shocker.
Oh, it's going to be great. He wants to sing.
Okay, people, did you hear that? He's going to sing. I didn't know that.
Summer Wind. Him and I are going to sing Summer Wind together. Frank Sinatra.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, that's going to be hilarious. But the Steven stuff was great, and all I can say is they always kill a brother in the end. That's all I'm going to say. Come to the end of the movie, they always kill the brother. Brothers always want to get shot, killed, something. So
okay, they're trying to change some of that in Hollywood because we were discussing that yesterday. No, the day before. Yesterday was a holiday. With the inclusion riders, and that you cannot have just one group, one type of. You have to include everybody.
Absolutely.
Also for the audience to make it interesting.
Yes.
I mean, I like to watch all different kinds of accents and mentalities, and you get the flavor of where they're from on screen. Yeah,
and this movie that you and Edward are throwing together, it's got. Oh my gosh, it's got a lot of flavor.
We are organizing our.
This has got a lot of flavor. That's all I can say. It's got a lot of flavor, so it's going to be exciting to see the finished product. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, it's got all the elements in.
Yeah,
I mean, if you took like a dish and said, "I'm putting this," in. And yes, there are probably people in Hollywood that will freak.
Yeah.
Because they'll be, part of why I can relate to what we're doing and why I got involved is because I don't want to say break the rules, but there are rules written, and then there are other ways to do things.
Yes.
To achieve the same result, all done properly.
Yep.
But it's like when I was building the restaurant, they said, you need 4 months. I said, I need 2 months. I have to open by Christmas. They're like, no, Miss Sousa, you need 4. I said, no, you need 4. I need 2. Yeah. I did it September 19th. I opened November 17th. End of discussion. They were like, it's not. I said, please don't put me the rules and how you do it. How you do it is your business. I will do it my way.
Yeah.
And this is how I have managed to get things done and do so many different things. And you too.
Yeah.
Because you don't allow other people to come and put limitations on you.
No
it's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
And Edward and I, the reason we connect like that is because he has the big vision. He doesn't think just like this and you can't go here, you can't. Yes, you can.
Yes.
Who's telling you no? And if you don't listen.
Mm-hmm. You got to do it your way. You know, you got to go with your feeling, your gut, your instinct, and of course you got to. I find in Romania, you really got to, you know, put the old foot on someone's behind a lot because you got to get things done. You know, be like, I'm sorry, you want to turn around? Thank you. And by the way, I got to share this with you. This is one of my takes on Romania. As much as I love Romania, and I always love Romania, this is Romanian to me. I go into the mall. I walk up to the information desk. I'm like, you know, bună dimineața, you know, hi, some young lady. I'd like to go to the second or third floor. Is there an escalator? Yes. Do you know where it is? Yes.
You want to tell me?
You want to tell me? Yeah, I mean, you're not getting any information unless you don't get any. You're not getting a smidgen of information unless you ask. You got to say, "Hi, I want to know where the escalator is. Could you point me in the right direction, please?" I mean, you can't let anybody, you know, you can't let anybody just short suit you like that. It happens all the time. It makes me crazy sometimes.
Maybe because I've been here 14 years, a bit longer. Maybe I've just gotten into a different groove.
Right.
Probably because you seem so pleasant and so nice, and they were just waiting for you. I'll be like, right, I need to get to the elevator as soon as possible. Where is it? And they'll say, okay, so I'm gonna go that way. And I don't have maybe the same problem. I need to be more direct. Because I have a different approach.
Yeah, I gotta
And usually they think, oh, this one, she's too much trouble. Just send her quickly on her way.
That's probably what they're like. Don't mess with her, man. Just find an elevator.
You know, she's gonna come. She's gonna give me a headache. What? Just send it. And they're like, this way.
Before you even get
straight.
there. Oh, you want the elevator? Yeah, I need a different approach for that one. So I'm learning. I'm taking it all in.
We learn every day. You know when you stop learning? When they put you down.
Yeah.
When they put you in there.
I can wait for that one.
I can wait too.
You know, another 50.
I want to get everything done. I've done, and then I said, this is the last chapter. What do you mean? I said, but it is. And, you know, days count. Otherwise, they just go by, and you never catch what you missed.
Yeah,
and
you can't replace time.
You have to look forward, and you don't know how long, how far. Make it count.
Absolutely.
Work on it.
Yeah, and that's people have that fear.
So what parting advice do you have for people
Parting
watching?
Advice. Yeah, don't let anybody, you know, put limitations on your dreams, on your goals, on the things that you want to do. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and I mean, anything's possible. I mean, you know, we all have our stories, we all have our experiences, but you know, in the big picture, anything is possible.
Well, look at you, you're living proof.
So that would be.
And I really
message.
say, you know, kol hakavod. This is what we say in Hebrew. And you took it. You took a dire situation, and you literally turned it around. I mean, when I heard that you've been, I looked at him. I said, "Really? You look like the specimen of health." And you see, you never know really what goes on behind.
Right.
And that's such an encouragement to other people who, like, you know, because they're sitting there going, "Oh my God." But I think also 50% is physical, and also the other part comes from the mental.
Yeah, without question. And you need to. Even now, I love seeing people who've had a transplant longer than me. You know, that motivates me. I'm like, man, you had yours 15 years ago? Oh, I'm on 10. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're 15.
Thank you for your advice. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and have a good night, y'all.